We now move into a fireside chat on the topic India's influence on global product innovation. Our speaker this evening is Radhika CH, Vice President, Western Digital. She is a customer and people-focused leader with 25 years of global experience in value creation using IT and technology. She has worked in a global ecosystem and partnered with internal and external business stakeholders to understand business strategy, challenges, and systems, and build a plan and execute it towards the future state. She'll be in conversation this evening with Sanjeev Malhotra from nasscom. Ladies and gentlemen, please extend a warm welcome to Radhika and Sanjeev.
Welcome, Radhika.
Thank you.
Look forward to the discussion. We have been talking about space before this. Just for the audience sake, we say that anybody who's doing that tough work is rocket scientist. And let me tell you, semiconductor is no less actually. People who are from the semiconductor industry can appreciate that a little bit more. Radhika, who's one of the dynamic, energetic persons from Hyderabad, works in Bangalore. I hear you drive to Bangalore.
Most often.
Right. And I also hear that you actually do jogging for relaxation.
Yes.
Is that correct?
And I'm also a scuba diver, and I'm a yoga certified trainer. I do quite a bit.
Great. So if you're looking for any fitness tips, I think you can talk to her outside, after this session. But before we get into the, technical details of what she's doing at Western Digital, how many of you know about Western Digital? Have you heard of Western Digital?
SanDisk. Now more hands go up.
More hands?
SanDisk is, I think, a little more known than Western.
So Western Digital was a storage company that used to make hard disks, and they were one of the leaders in their space. Hard disks actually have kind of gone down in importance in solid state memory. What we call silicon memory or a semiconductor memory has gone up, in usage, whether it is our laptops or it is the data centers, yep. Right? So, all of us have seen SanDisk. We have bought USBs for that brand. I think everybody recognizes that SanDisk is a part of Western Digital, and she represents a good part of that semiconductor thing there as well. So Radhika, let's hear from you some of the technology breakthroughs that are happening in your organization from India.
Definitely. Listening to the previous speakers, I was just thinking, everybody was talking about carbon. I think I'm going to be talking silicon. Right? We do talk about a little bit of carbon footprint and how do we reduce it, but I think we are probably in a different chemical composition. And I'm in the silicon space for about a little over 5 years, but otherwise prior to that I was in most of the time in consumer manufacturing. I think this discussion I'll keep it specific to silicon semiconductor related innovation. If I can, when a friend from nasscom connected with me saying, can you tell us the innovation in India centers, right? I was just thinking in my head that I could think about innovation that we are doing in Western Digital into two big blocks, right? One is the product innovation, right, which is physical touch, you can feel the products. Another one is process or technology innovation, right? I'll touch a little bit on product innovation so that you know how we have progressed on the journey, and then probably I'll share some of the challenges so that if any that resonates with you, it could be of help for you. And later during the drinks and dinner, we can catch up and maybe I can learn from all of you. And then later I'll jump into the process and technology innovation side. Right? And many of you must have seen the huge memories in the past, right? And how, to Sanjeev's point, how it has changed the trajectory from HDD and to SSDs, right? Even now, HDDs are also significant, but there's a slow and steady transition. I have some samples that I've brought, and these samples are purely done, complete R&Ds based out of India centers. Right? I requested my team to send the ones only which are done completely based out of India. And I'll show you the transition even in India centers. I'll first show you a couple of SSDs and then I'll show you HDD portion of it. I need to be very careful because the sizes are very interesting here. So first and foremost, to talk about the flash. In the flash, I think if I look at it, I mean, if the moment you search for flash SSDs, okay, one other fact that I want to share before I start showing the products are 100% of consumer SSDs in Western Digital are designed based out of India. Right? So we are a significant portion operating from India for a global Western Digital footprint in consumer. So all of those USBs, memory cards that go in and so on, and portable SSDs, all of these are completely designed based out of India Center. I think more or less it's right across this building. Right? And the one that I'm holding in my hand, is a 1 terabyte. Right? It's a 1 terabyte portable SSD. Right? It's this. And I'm sure those of you who would have seen the memory in the past, it is nowhere closer to this size. Right? And this transition, just look at it, in very few years, 2 years, it has come down. Right? You see now my hand size is coming down. Now I'll show you something which is most recent release, which is completely done from India. Now I need to open a pouch because this one, I cannot really keep it outside and not lose it. Oops. It is this now. Right? You see? I can't even really hold it, right? Now this is completely from India, right? And this is one of the innovations where I think from India itself, we file about 300 plus patents a year, right? And all done in India. And the manufacturing is in APAC in most of the cases, but it's a significant portion. And how is it done? Constantly layering. Right? You keep layering the silicon, and then you keep adding the memory. We started with 2 bigs, and then now we are in the innovation of 8 bigs NAND products. R&D is completely based out of India. Right? So that's from the product innovation on the flash side. I'll show you very quickly, and then I'll jump into the process innovation side of it. There is one beautiful product, completely ideated and R&D done only in India. This is a marriage between HDD, which is hard drive, and flash drive. It's called OptiNAND. It is wonderful product because not all of the, including data centers, are not ready yet to shift it to flash because of the cost and their portability and so on. So they still need your hard drives. Now, how do you enable it with the flash power, less power consumption, and remaining requirements, higher storage? This is a solution. Again, the pride part is completely done based out of India. Right? Ideated, architected, and designed and developed from India. That's on the product innovation side. Now I'll jump into in the interest of rest of the audience who are in IT and ITES segment, this could be of interest for you, if not the chips here. When it comes to, I do have Inian, who is my colleague who works in some of the data and analytics space here. We are in Asia. Right? One advantage that we have being close to Asia and then where most of the semiconductor and silicon manufacturing happens. Definitely most of these companies are Silicon Valley based headquartered, but then eventually ended up in Taiwan, Bangkok, and Malaysia manufacturing centers. So very few has got India set up. Most of it is assembly and test. Some of you must be aware, right? Now with that, being closer to the manufacturing, we have taken a good advantage of innovation here. Right, I'll give you a couple of examples so that how we have approached it. Right? One is these fabrication units are very expensive. Right? Just to give you an idea, very basic fabrication unit setup is $6 billion USD. Right? It's a primary one. And every investment in that, if you have to change a small thing, it's a capital investment. Now, before you invest a capital, should you not know whether it works or not? Right? If it is our money, we would want to just get a validation if it works or not. Now, earlier, there was no option. And after India Center started picking up analytics, they started to use digital twin as a technology. And again, team here, sitting here, they do quite a bit into that. So now we have digital twins in most of the cases where before you actually invest the capital, you can validate how that whole change in the particular investment or whole change in the machinery will show the improvement in the final product. Even a 1% of it is a huge improvement, right? And then I'm taking a decision whether should I invest it or not. Right? And another example where we use innovation and some of the operational research models is by using the modeling, right? I think everybody talked about a carbon footprint and some of the sustainability requirements, right? And the sustainability requirements and commitments are real. We do have a commitment to become complete. By 2023, all of our manufacturing sites are going to be running on renewable power. Right? So when you have sustainability commitments, then modeling some of the input parameters is so critical. So we run a series of models which takes a bunch of parameters and runs an operational research model and then gives an output. Now we know whether this particular decision we should take it or not. Is it adding to our sustainability goals or not? Right? Some of these are the examples that I can think of from product to process, Sanjeev. Long one.
Good. Let me take a small quiz here. How many people know how big is terabyte? 2 raised to power? What? 10 is kilobytes. Let me just for a reference. Anyway, that's a homework for everyone. That's pretty big. So that's how big it is that, people are talking, memories that are continuing to grow. We are talking terabytes. We are talking, then next thing is petabytes.
Petabytes, gigabytes, exabytes.
Petabytes. All right. So the thing goes on. As the saying goes, people come and go. Storage always grow. So you are in the right business. So another thing about Radhika is, she has been instrumental in setting up centers of excellence, or they have been setting up the GCCs here that she did, one of the prominent semiconductor company. And Radhika would like to, for the benefit of the audience, some of the challenges or the difficulties that people face, and what are the good practices and 1 or 2 challenges and good practices that you want to share with everyone?
Definitely. So here, recently I read one book where they said, too often when we get the success, we keep talking about the challenges that we had and we don't tell people how success feels, right? So first of all, I wanted to tell you that when you are in a GCC, when you set up a GCC and then you feel that you are actually driving the innovation, it feels really great. I'm sure some of you who are already part of the GCC, you know how great it feels when you see that you have set up a center of excellence and then this is driving innovation, right? And I had a luxury of experiencing that feeling. Now, and just quickly to tell you, the journey was definitely bumpy ride. It was not straightforward. It was not easy. And even including this product portfolio, when we started in 2013, I was not with Western Digital, I was with another company, but then I learned from my colleagues that it was not an easy one. Nobody came and then gave it on a platter, right? That's because everybody has got their own insecurities. It's not that they're bad people, right? It's just that they have their own insecurities and biases that they have. And that's the same thing when I was setting up in my previous company also, when I was setting up India Center, when I said, hey, India can do manufacturing IT, India can do global security and innovation, manufacturing, there was always a pushback. Oh, no, that's not India. India can do operations. India can do back office, right? But eventually, the way it worked for us, Sanjeev, I think the way in my mind, if I segregate it as 3 sections. First one is operating model. Right? The way I approached it is, in my previous role and in the current role also, I never approach it with a full-blown intent saying, okay, I am ready to take it up because India has got a talent, right? We always tag under the talent. India has got talent. Now, the moment we start operating with 100%, I am going to be grabbing, you're out of it, right? So I used to start with a small scale saying, okay, here are the small things that I can do. Just do it, right? Do it and show it than telling what we can do. Right? So we used to do small POCs, push the envelopes, do the small POCs, push the envelope, and then probably not, and then give a pie for somebody else on other side of the shore. Right? So that's operating model piece. And then we are Indians, we are survivors, right? We know how things work. And then second part when it comes to talent is once they start to see how things are working and at what cost it's working, I think there is automatic natural gravity, right? That's a talent piece. And third piece that I have interesting debates with some of my GCC friends on this is, India is always seen as a low-cost geo, and most of the companies, when they're setting up India centers, it is always dollar to rupee comparison. It always looks good. And eventually, at times, we forget that after first 2 years, it is rupee to rupee comparison. It's no more dollar comparison. So constantly keeping it low is equally important, right? We can tell them, okay, innovation, we are driving innovation, we are no more a low-cost geo, but then that's when we are starting to lose our unique selling point, which is also the cost, right? So I at least get conscious. So 3 parameters: operating model, talent, conscious about the cost.
Wonderful. So since we are running out of time, I'll ask you one last thing, unless audience has something to ask. You know, data centers are growing pretty fast all over the world, and India is going to have a similar need, and we are seeing exponential rise in data usage, and I believe your memories are going into data centers also. So all these terabytes that we talk about, actually, when you hear about all the geos giving us so many gigabytes free, actually get stored on the memory which they make. So just to get you the reference, connect with our everyday usage, right? I want to quickly share the thing, because last 30 seconds, I think, since we are out of time.
Definitely. Just to give you quick numbers, we are a 1.4 billion country, and the current internet users are about 700 million. And the projection is by 2028, it's going to be 1.2 billion. Of course, population grows, and then we are going to be 1.4 billion. And each user generating about 64 gigabytes of data, right? Just multiply. I'll leave the multiplication for all of you. So it's a huge data. And India, as a country, with all of the regulations of storing the in-country data in the country, like most of the MEA and other countries, it's a huge economy, right? To one of the friend who talked about space economy, I would also tell you how big and how huge the data center economy is. Right? That's a space, another space in addition to the actual space that you can think about venturing. And definitely, we are pushing our envelope and trying to see how much share that we can grab. And wish you all good luck for those of you who can enter into this other second space as well. Good luck, and thank you so much for having me here, Sanjeev.
Right. Wonderful. So if you have any more questions, Radhika is going to be around for some more time. But how much do you jog in one go, just as a last thing?
My daily average is anywhere between 8 to 10 kilometers.
Oh my God.
And then I'm walking to the moon. I have been tracking it for the last couple of years. I walked 10.5% of the moon distance. By the time remaining Chandrayans goes, I think I will be on the moon. I'll walk back.
All right. So big
On
round
that
of
note,
applause
we'd
for
like
her.
to thank
you so much, Radhika, for being here.
I'd like to thank Radhika. I'd like to request Sanjeev to please present Radhika with a small token of our appreciation.